Good evening, everyone. This time I call to order a business meeting for the Faribault Public Schools School Board here on July 20, 2026 at the district office. We welcome all of those who are in attendance here and those of you who are watching online. Director Steves, do we have a quorum present?
Yes, Mr. Chair, there is.
Thank you. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I didn't have it in silent. I didn't want to.
Thank you. Move on to agenda item 2, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion for approval of the agenda?
So move.
Thank you, Director Boudreau. Is your second?
Second?
Thank you, Director Steves. Any discussion? All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 3, recognitions, awards, and presentations. There is none. Agenda item number 4, items of information, report from school board members. Director Moore, would you like to start first?
Oh, I always do, right? Okay. I just want to mention, just a few days ago, we celebrated our nation's 250th anniversary. And we have to say, really what a great nation we live in. And many, many others agree. In fact, I have to say, the foreigners, the people who came over to the United States for the World Cup, and I'm really not too much of a sports fan, my husband is, but and this is all over social media with their posts and videos. They absolutely love the United States of America, and they love our air conditioning and our free refills, stores, filled with so many choices. And they said, the kindness and the helpfulness, and moreover, they love our flag and our patriotism. And the fact that they mentioned patriotism was a surprise to me. I was like, really, And finally, I have to admit there was an added theme in many of their posts and videos, and that is they absolutely have asserted. They said they were lied to by the media. Imagine that. They were told how horrible America was until they got here. And they said they absolutely love it here. And I think the truth sets us free. So it's too bad we didn't win the World Cup, but that's okay. Spain got it. But secondly, I just want to talk about our Constitution, and it's our basic founding document. It's the basic tenets of our Constitution stand on the principle, that all individuals are equal. This goes along with our stance on equity. And since this is our nation's 250th birthday, and it is a federal mandate to teach on the Constitution every September 17th, I think we need to put forth an experience for our students and our staff that they will never forget, and that is worthy of our constitutional republic. And yes, we have a constitutional republic. So I guess I'm going to be in touch with Superintendent Benny and Chair Bellingham, and I'd like to meet with you to discuss what the plans are for September 17th. So I'll be getting in touch with you. And I think we may have somebody in the wings that would like to do a little teaching or something. I don't know how that'll go, but I'd like to get and meet with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Moore.
I don't have anything.
Director Boudreau, anything?
Yeah, I will just share that, I don't remember the date because time flies when you're having so much fun, but Kane Smith led a group of us, and I don't remember who all was there, but there was a group of us, and we got to tour McKinney and how that's coming, and that was early one morning. I don't even remember which day of the week it was, but it was approaching 3-4 weeks ago, I guess. But it was coming along very well, and it was just a great tour, and super excited to have the AFC students in there and all that stuff, so it looks really nice.
Excellent. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, to that point, I'm hoping that all of us will know when there is either a ribbon cutting or something going on at the McKinley sites. We can all go.
Director Boudreau, you're stealing my thunder again.
All right, great. Sorry.
So, okay. That is all. From School board members, then let's move on to Superintendent Venti. Items of information.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I had the opportunity to tour the new school-based health center at Faribault High School. I'm excited for the positive impact it will have on our students, families, and our community. It's operated by Health Finders Collaborative. The clinic will provide convenient access to healthcare services, including medical, dental, and vision care. There's a dental chair and a vision room as well in there. The clinic also features a separate entrance for community members, making it easy for both students and the broader community to access the care. This summer, several important improvement projects have been underway to prepare our schools for another successful year. McKinley has been transformed into the new home of the Faribault Area Learning Center. Roosevelt Early Learning Center is undergoing a renovation for an interactive indoor learning space, and Jefferson Elementary is updating its special education classrooms and student restrooms. Thank you to Director of Buildings and Grounds, Kane Smith, his team, our custodial staff, and our contractors for their dedication and hard work in making these improvements possible. I was also able to visit our summer STEAM program at Lincoln Elementary and Faribault High School last week. It was wonderful to see the students engaged in hands-on learning, building skills, and having fun. Thank you to our teachers and support staff for creating innovative opportunities that keep students learning, growing, and connected throughout the summer. Our summer service learning students continue to make meaningful impact across our district and community. Students have supported the Nest, cared for Faribault High School chickens, worked in the community gardens, organized supplies at Infants Remembered in Silence, and helped digitize Faribault High School yearbooks. Many have already completed more than 100 hours of service, demonstrating leadership, responsibility, and a commitment to giving back. 23rd and 4th grade summer STEAM students recently participated in a safety camp through a partnership with Faribault Parks and Recreation and local public safety agencies. Students learned valuable safety skills through hands-on experiences covering topics such as the internet, fire, water, bike, first aid, and sun safety while meeting first responders and exploring emergency equipment. Thank you to all of our community partners for providing such a memorable and meaningful experience for our students. Jefferson Elementary recently completed a new pollinator plot thanks to support from Melinda Vaughn School Pollinator Fund, Community Co-op, the 21st Century Community Learning Centers Program, Rice County Soil and Water Conservation District, and the Partners for Pollinators. Summer STEAM students, staff, and volunteers planted nearly 2,000 native plants, creating a beautiful outdoor learning space that will benefit students for years to come. And through a Falcon Education Enrichment Program grant, or FEEP grant, students designed and built 4 custom benches, one representing each season, for the Prairie Pocket at Faribault High School. The benches create a welcoming gathering space for students, staff, and the community to enjoy the Prairie area while showcasing the creativity, craftsmanship, and cross-curricular collaboration fostered through FEEP. Upcoming events, we're excited to invite our students, families, and the community members to celebrate the grand opening of the Faribault Area Learning Center in its new home at the McKinley Building. Join us Wednesday, August 26th for a ribbon-cutting ceremony at 3:30 p.m. All right, so once again, that is Wednesday, August 26th, ribbon-cutting ceremony at 3:30 p.m., followed by tours of the newly renovated space. We hope you'll join us as we celebrate this exciting new chapter and see the incredible transformation firsthand. And Mr. Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Superintendent Venti. Agenda item number 5 is public comment. This evening we have Tom Moline for public comment, and he wishes to talk about the Minnesota MTSS. Welcome and good evening, Mr. Moline.
Thank you. I'm Tom Moline from Faribault. I know most of you very well. I appreciate what you do. I would like to use my 3 minutes to address the more macro issue with what I consider the growth of the administrative state in the education system. I'm reminded that so much of what the school board has to deal with are things that are mandated, things that we're told we have to do, and then we have to parse out how to pay for those things and how that works. So I'd like to point out a event that happened in the 1500s in a city in Germany where a group of pastors and community leaders came together and established something called the doctrine of the lesser magistrate. And in using this as an example, it's something that struck me. I came across it doing research on other things. But the doctrine of the lesser magistrate is that when a higher authority asks you to do something that you know is not correct, then you have a moral obligation, and in our society, a responsibility as a citizen to say, no, we can't do that. And I think that as I explore this doctrine of the lesser magistrate, and I'm discussing it with different groups, different politicians at different levels, the concept is the community, and once again, look behind me, the business meeting, and nobody showed up. I would ask that the school board consider ways to reach into the community and communicate more clearly the pressures and the results of state-mandated things that I think they take away from the fact that this is the independent Faribault School District 656. And I think that with a lot more community, and this means voter support, to put pressure on the higher up levels of our government to realize that there's only so much money, and we're spending it currently in the United States. Our growth of the administrative state like this, and the outcomes of our students is like this. I'm not expecting everybody to solve that problem. I appreciate the opportunity to speak, and I would like people to really consider that. We have authority as citizens, and when someone up the political ladder is doing something that doesn't quite sync with what we need, I think it's important that the community back you and other groups, and then we can see some real true change. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moline. Agenda item number 6 is the consent agenda. The consent agenda this evening consists of the minutes from the June 15th, 2026 and July 6th, 2026 meetings, employment, additional assignments and other, and authorization of payments, transfers, and investments accounts. Is there a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Wolf. There's a second. Thank you, Director Boudreau. There's no discussion on the consent agenda, so all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 7 is the District Advisory Committee. There is no report. Agenda item number 8 is the Policy Committee. This is the second reading of policies. I've been asked to pull 3 of them, so obviously we will deal with each of them separately. So we'll just go numerically down the line here. So the first one is revisions to policy 410, family and medical leave policy. Is there a motion for approval to the revisions to policy 410, family and medical leave policy?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Wolf, and I will second that. And discussion. Director Moore.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Bellingham. I'd just like to refer to, it's 3.I believe it's on page 4. It's under definitions. And I'm just going to read that one paragraph. I have a comment to make on it. Spouse means a husband or wife. For purposes of this definition, husband or wife refers to the other person with whom an individual entered into marriage as defined or recognized under state law for purposes of marriage in the state in which the marriage was entered into, or in the case of a marriage and entered into outside of any state, if the marriage is valid in the place where entered into and could have been entered into at least one state. This definition includes an individual in a same-sex or common law marriage that either one was entered into in a state that recognizes such marriages, or 2, if entered into outside of any state, is valid in the place where entered into and could have been entered into in at least one state. Sounds like a lawyer wrote this. I guess for me, this wording, because it is offensive to some groups, violates our equitable and equality standards. Further, it seems to favor one group over another. Therefore, I'm voting against this policy. And I will add that the argument that it is Minnesota statute or law, I refer to that argument as pharisaical legalism, because we're siding with man's laws rather than God's laws, which is a group. We talk about higher authority. Tom talked about that, actually. I think it's important to vote with our espoused values. So I guess I am not voting on that. I just wanted to make the comment. So I guess we have to choose to stay in. I'd like a roll call, please. Thank you.
Further discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Director
I don't have my laptop with me tonight, but is the language state statute, reflecting state or federal statute?
I'm going to refer that to Superintendent Benty or.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just wondered if it was current law.
I'm thinking yes, I believe we've talked about that before.
So if the
It is? Okay.
question is about same-sex marriage, that is a state piece that is also a nationwide piece. So
Okay.
that is protected nationwide as well.
So, just to clarify, that is both state and federal law.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion? No discussion? For discussion, we're ready to vote. All in favor of the motion for approval of revisions to policy 410 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion passes.
Oh, I wanted a roll call, by the way.
We've already taken the vote. Motion passes
Okay.
5-1. It is noted in the notes that you have voted in the
Okay,
negative.
thank you very much. I appreciate that.
8A2 is change of policy 625, use and reproduction of copyrighted materials to policy 699. Is there a motion for approval of change to policy 625, use of and reproduction of copyrighted materials to policy 699?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Steves. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Director Knudsen. And discussion. Any discussion? Last call for discussion. Hearing none. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. 8A3 is revisions to policy 721, uniform grant guidance policy regarding federal revenue sources. Is there a motion for approval of revisions to policy 721, uniform grant guidance policy regarding federal revenue sources?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Wolf. There's a second. Thank you, Director Boudreau. Excuse me. And discussion. Director
Yes.
Moore.
Yes, thank you. I was proposing to keep the wording in the United States Constitution. So it's amendment to policy 721. It's 7.c.page 10. And I'm proposing to keep the wording in the United States Constitution in the sentence, the school district must comply with the United States Constitution, federal statutes, regulations, and the terms and conditions of the federal award. That's my amendment.
Thank you. Director Moore, I believe, in reading this, going through this thoroughly, I believe that is already, continues to be in there.
Yes, and I wasn't sure if it was, I know, Mr. Benty, you sent us, I think, an email saying that according to MSBA, they retracted on what they said before because they wanted to remove it. And I know at the policy committee, we voted unanimously to keep it in, so it is in there now.
It is,
Okay.
it's on page
Yeah.
10 of the policy.
Page 10, correct.
C, it is in there in red, so yeah, it is in there.
Yes.
Do you wish still to propose your amendment?
Well, if it's, as long as it's in there, that's
It's in
fine.
there in red, so it's in there.
Okay, I wanted to
You-
make sure.
You do not want to propose the amendment then?
Well, it's already, the wording is in there already.
Yes.
It's staying in there. As long as it's staying in there, it's
So yes
it's
or
a
no,
moot
do you want
point.
to put the amendment
No,
forward?
I
Okay,
do not.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
I wasn't sure if it was in there or not, so. And I think our attorneys did look at this, so, okay. As long as it's in there, I'm fine.
any further discussion? Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And lastly here, 8A4, revisions to policy 806, crisis management policy. Is there a motion for approval of revisions to policy 806, crisis management policy?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Steves. There's a second. Director Boudreau, thank you for the second. And discussion. Director Moore, did you have something with this one too?
Yes, just
Okay.
a little bit. On page 14 there, under 5, it said if we say, it said it was, if I can find it, additional sample procedures may be found in the response section of the comprehensive. There was some place it said that, that all of the details should be attached, and they were attached, and I commend Superintendent Banty for doing that. And I'm fine with it all because I kind of went through it. The only thing I'd like to add, but I don't think it would be sexual assault on page 14, but I think that would be covered under assault. So I'm pretty satisfied with all of it. And again, I want to thank Mr. Benty for sending all of that, the attachment. I think it's 806 form on that. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's all.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, just a comment. I was reading about 5 drills on lockdown and 5 fire drills during the winter months. And then there's additional drills and notices to parents when we do certain drills. This is a lot of work for our district to complete these requirements. I just think most people don't realize how much we have to do, how many drills are done in our schools each school year. I just think it's good for us to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 9, other committees, 9A, facilities committees. Director Moore and Director Wolf.
Okay, and thank you, Director Wolf, for speaking about that when we had the little tour. That was really I really enjoyed that. I think it was good to see all that, and we asked questions. Actually, we didn't have a meeting, but Kane Smith did send a memo, and I'm just going to go through that quickly. And this was his memo was dated July 8th. So McKinley with the ALC said the final stretch is with McKinley remodel is being completed. The kitchen equipment has been installed, and the final cleaning has begun. He said the final inspection would be July 21st, and once that's completed, they can go into the building. As far as Roosevelt Early Childhood, would you like, did you say something, Mr. Wolf? Oh, I thought somebody did. Roosevelt Early Childhood Center, the Media Center remodel is underway. The flooring has been removed, and new halfways and storage room walls have been framed, and sheetrock is to follow. Said the request for bids on the indoor play structure would be going out that week. And with Jefferson, the new chiller has been installed and is running. Middle school, the glycol replacement project has been completed. As far as Lincoln, with the Phase 1 restoration projects, this is included sealing up the caulking, cracks in the outside walls, missing mud joints in the brinks, and washing the exterior of the building in Phase 1. He said they'll be moving on to other sites throughout the summer. As far as circuit, the IQ, this is the electrical circuits. They'll be starting the projects next week at McKinley and Jefferson, where they check those. As far as the LED projects, retrofit has completed the McKinley LED project and will be starting Jefferson. They should have started it already. The parking lot painting will be starting, it should have started already. And we'll be trying to complete this in-house this year to save money. And I think I've covered it all. He's quite detailed, and he's short and detailed. And thank you, Kane.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Director Moore. 9B, Finance Committee report. Director Boudreau.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance Committee meeting was held remotely on July 13th at 7:30 a.m. Committee actions include approval of the agenda, approval of minutes from the June meeting, approval of a 2-year grant-funded position to develop infrastructure and protocols for the multi-tiered system of supports, a statewide framework as presented by Julie Hull, Director of Teaching and Learning. Approval of a bid contract with CJC Construction for completion of a Jefferson renovation project, the last of 3 district projects funded by a capital facilities grant received in 2025. Approval of the 2027 Minnesota State Academies and Faribault Public School Collaborative Tuition Agreement as presented by Barbie Raisler and Rob Dainert. Approval of the updated long-term facilities and maintenance revenue program, LTFM, 10-year plan projection of expenditures as required by MDE. Enrollment and revenue, our June student count was not available during the time of the meeting and continues to fluctuate. Our May investment report shows $101,000 in earned interest with cash and investments at $23.4 million, indicating strong liquidity. The year-to-date spending is on track at 95% of budget, with revenues at 84%. The meeting was adjourned, and the next meeting is August 10th at 7:30 a.m.
Thank you, Director Boudreau. Agenda item 10, other matters. 10A is update about superintendent evaluation, and I have that here. So July 20th, 2026, today, the Faribault Public Schools School Board met in a closed session on July 6, 2026 to discuss the results of the 2025-2026 superintendent evaluation. A rating score was used on the following 3 goals set by the school board. Goal 1, elevate student achievement. The action steps are implement evidence-based literacy and math initiatives aligned to the science of reading and Minnesota state standards, expand access to early learning through increased pre-K capacity and community partnerships, and strengthen transition programs, career pathways, and post-secondary readiness from middle school to high school. Goal 2, advance technology integration. Action steps were develop and implement policies and professional development on the ethical use of AI and emerging technologies, ensure equitable access to devices, the internet, and digital tools for all students, provide staff with ongoing training to integrate technology into teaching and learning. Goal 3, strengthen communication and community partnerships. Action steps, enhance two-way communication with multilingual access to ensure transparency with families and community stakeholders. Expand social media and digital presence to promote district achievements and timely updates. Engage families and students in district decision-making through advisory groups and feedback loops. And communicate and be visible and visibility with on-site staff. After review and discussion of the evaluation scores and comments, the board has concluded that Superintendent Benty has worked on and has met these goals to be a developing and effective leader for Faribault Public Schools. The board looks forward to working in partnership with Superintendent Benty for a successful 2026-2027 school year. Respectfully, John Bellingham, Chair. Agenda item 10B is gifts and donations, resolution 27-01. Here is the resolution. Resolution 27-01, approving the acceptance of the following gifts and donations. Jeannie Johnson donated 2 bags of clothing for the Nest, and the Petra Foundation donated $30,000 for the Little Falcons program. Is there a motion for approval of 27-01, accepting gifts and donations as I have just read?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Wolf. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Director Steves. Discussion. Director Wolf.
Mr. Chair, just a big thank you to the continuous support that we have from the community. Generous donation to the Nest of some clothing and a generous donation from the Petra Foundation for the Little Falcons program, as you mentioned. The Little Falcons program, I don't know if everybody knows about it, but obviously it's tailored to our youngsters, kindergarten through fifth grade. And every year that we've had this program, the Petra Foundation has donated $30,000 every year. And so just a huge thank you to them. I don't know if this is going into year 5 or year 6, but we're approaching that. So it's a significant amount of money that they continue to support with our youth. And it's my understanding the Little Falcons program touched or had enrolled over 800 students last year. So it's a big deal for our community. Thank you.
Further discussion, Director Moore.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, that was a very generous donation. For those in the public, and I think Mr. Director Wolf, you're more familiar with that. Could you just explain a little bit what the Little Falcons, what they're doing, and just briefly?
Yeah, so
For
it's
the
a
public,
program
because they may ask.
where the kindergarten through fifth graders are invited at no cost. Most programs are roughly 6 sessions, 6 weeks, something like that. Every one's a little different. There are athletic programs, so if you think of the majority of our varsity sports, there's likely a youth program, a Little Falcons program, oftentimes run by a head coach or an assistant coach, and oftentimes with the involvement of those varsity players. I mean, I don't think that can be stressed enough, the learning that goes back and forth between the youngsters and the high schoolers. And I really mean that mutually. They both learn from each other, and it's a wonderful thing. And then in addition to that, I believe they partner with the Paradise. I believe there's a robotics in addition to the sports. And I believe this year, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but they're actually going to create their first play in Little Falcons, a theater play. And so just really, really great stuff. The leadership, Mr. Ryan Lukin is, I believe, in charge of the Little Falcons program for the most part. And then there's building coordinators and all that. And just a wonderful program. Ms. Riopel or somebody else can probably give you more details on it. But I've been involved as a volunteer with the basketball program over a few years. And just a wonderful thing. And some are after school, some are on the weekends. Once again, just a tremendous amount of extracurricular activities. And the whole point of it is hopefully to be able to allow these kids to dip their toes in the water, if you will, and see what they like. So there's not a huge commitment, and it's free. And so that's a big deal for a lot of our community and a lot of our students and families. Hopefully that helps.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's appropriate to always mention that the significant support that the Petra family has provided. I knew Dale and Kathy, and they're no longer with us, but their family it shows how supportive they are to our district. And without those 30,000s continually coming in, we would have to have our families pay those costs, and we would not maybe have as much participation as we do right now. So I think it's always important to just mention how, the family desires and how they're put into action and how that creates a great benefit for our community, not just our schools, but our entire community. So thank you to the foundation.
Anything further? Director Moore.
Yes, you said 800 students participated.
This year there were over 800, yeah.
That was good, because I think it's so important that those little guys, once they, participate, and the fact that it's free, because not everyone can afford some of the things. So I really want to thank the Petra family.
So again, as everyone has echoed up here, thank you to the Petra Foundation, everyone who always donates to our students in our district, but we are very fortunate to have a program like this. I don't think too many districts have after-school activities like this, and we're very fortunate. Mr. Ryan Lucan does a fantastic job of organizing, getting those things out, and the different activities these kids have after school. We are very, very fortunate, so thank you to everyone. Director Steves, this is a roll call vote, so Director Steves will do the roll call for approval of Resolution 27-01, gifts and donations.
Linda Boudreau,
Aye.
Candace Knutson,
Aye.
Linda Moore,
Aye.
Cassie Steves, aye. Chad Wolf,
Aye.
John Bellingham.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 10C, consider approval of the 26-27 student handbooks. And I'm going to have two different motions here, but we're going to deal with all of them except the Faribault Area Learning Center as requested by Director Moore. So the motion will be for consider approval of a motion for approval of the 2026-2027 student handbooks for Roosevelt Early Learning Center, Jefferson Elementary School, Lincoln Elementary School, Faribault Middle School, Faribault High School, and Faribault Online Academy. Is there a motion? For
So
approval
moved.
of the handbooks. I'm sorry, I didn't.
You can have it.
Okay, I'll so move.
Thank you, Director Boudreau. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Director Knudsen. And discussion. Discussion on those handbooks? Discussion, Director Moore?
Yes. I just have just a couple of concerns here, and so I'm going to address the whole gamut, including ALC. With these handbooks, we have a number of pages ranging from 6 pages to 57 pages. And the 6-page handbook is from the ALC. Now, parents, might read that one. I don't know. And I think it's a good job, Jake, and whoever is responsible for this handbook. I commend them. But I guess my concern is, are parents and students really going to read pages and pages of handbooks? And another concern is one handbook that looks at the wellness policy, and I'd like to comment briefly on this. Parents can no longer bring in classroom snacks, only pre-approved snacks. You can't have the birthday snacks or celebrations. And this is kind of what Tom Moline was talking about, too. This is government overreach. And I think we have a cultural mindset in operation here. It's like we know what's best for your child, not parents anymore. And I guess what does that sound like? That really is democratic socialism, Big Brother. I think Vesma Viets a while back, and I think it was 2022, talked about this, and she warned us about this. I'm concerned about surveys. It's mentioned lots of surveys, but giving surveys to the kindergartners, are parents aware of this? What kind of surveys are we giving to kindergartners? I'd like to see some of those surveys. As far as the high school, they've implemented a comprehensive school health program. What does that all entail? Especially now when clinics can now withhold student records from parents as young as 12. As far as there was a Faribault Middle School, students have access to gender identity and expression. What does that have to do with academics? What does that mean? And so when I was reading through these, I had some concerns, and I wanted to mention those, and I'm having a problem. That's what I'm having a problem with the handbooks. Thank you.
Further discussion?
I'll just make a couple of comments in relation to Director Moore's comments. So, yes, holistically, I agree with you regarding the wellness policy. I think food celebrations are important, especially, when you think about we have a high percentage of poverty, and this might be the only opportunity for a student or their family to celebrate some of these big things. I guess one thing, you can call this anecdotal or not, I have severe food allergies. So if Mr. Wolf is eating shellfish, I can't shake his hand. So those are some of the things that I believe the intent with the policy is well-meaning, but some of those nuances, I think, could and should be discussed maybe at an upcoming policy meeting. I guess as a parent of 3 kids in 3 different schools, it is an expectation that parents are reading the handbooks. Maybe I have too much time on my hand, but I sit down and go over the highlights with my kids as far as, especially relating to behavior expectations. I think at a minimum, this is a requirement that our families should be doing with their kids each and every year, especially when changes come up. So holistically, as far as this presentation, I would just really like to comment that I appreciated the memos regarding the changes. I also really appreciate some of the cleaning up of the graphics. Makes it a little bit easier to read and, explain to my kids.
Further discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Director Wolf.
Superintendent Benty, in the high school handbook on page 24, and I spoke to you about this the other day, it's in blue that says, beginning with the class of 2028 valedictorian, salutatorian will sunset and be replaced with high honors 3.5 and above, and honors graduates of 3.0 to 3.499. Were you able to confirm, is that still going to be the case with the newer leadership at the high school?
So I spoke with Mr. Muller the other day, and because it's still in there, they're still going to follow through with that because that was what the staff had wanted to move towards.
Okay,
So
okay, thank you.
For the discussion, Mr. Benty, I have a question for you. So with the snacks and the concern about food allergy, et cetera, is that a state mandate, or is this something individual districts do, or is it or federal nutrition?
it's a mixture of different things. So some of it is the food allergy piece. Some of it is because we take money from the federal government and the state government around food, anything that we serve our students has to fall within those guidelines. So a cookie that they might receive from our vendors inside of our schools has different nutritional value than a cookie that you would buy off the shelf at a grocery store. So that's the difference there, is it has to comply with federal and state nutrition guidelines, as well as the insurance piece, that if something is allowed to be brought in and served to anyone and they get sick, it becomes a big insurance issue as well. So it's kind of a combination of all of those.
Thank you. Okay. Last call for discussion.
I just have a question.
Director Moore.
Has there been instances where, with the insurance, the problems with like the school was sued or anything recently or not? Because you talked about the insurance, and I suppose if somebody gets sick, they could sue the school.
It would, I mean.
Has there been instances like that?
We have not had those, thankfully.
Have you heard in Minnesota?
But my guess, well, I don't know about that,
Oh,
but my guess is it would fall under liability insurance.
Yeah.
So if your child got sick off of an unapproved snack that was brought in, the school would be held liable for that.
Thank you.
Anything else? Discussion. Okay, we have a motion for approval of the 2026-2027 student handbooks for Roosevelt Early Learning Center, Jefferson Elementary School, Lincoln Elementary School, Faribault Middle School, Faribault High School, and Faribault Online Academy. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion passes 5-1. Next, we will have a motion for approval of the 26-27 student handbook for the Faribault Area Learning Center. Is there a motion for that? Thank you, Director Moore. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Director Steves. And discussion, Director Moore.
I think I mentioned that already. I just want to commend Jake and whoever assisted with writing that handbook. I think they did a good job. So thank you. Shout out to them.
Thank you. I think all the principals, all the leadership did an excellent job of
Yes.
presenting all these, and Jake as well, so thank you for that. Any further discussion? Discussion? All in favor of the motion for approval of the 2026-2027 student handbook for the Faribault Area Learning Center signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Agenda item 10D, consider approval of the Minnesota MTSS position. Is there a motion for approval of the Minnesota MTSS position?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Boudreau. Director Wolf, you will do the second. Thank you. And discussion, so first I will turn this over for just once again, an explanation from Director of Teaching and Learning, Ms. Julie Hall.
Well, good evening. This position has been brought to district level and building level administration every year that I have been here. Up to this point, we did not feel like this was something we were ready as a system for. However, when the request was brought forward by our grant coordinator this year and bringing it to all of our district leadership, so district leadership committee, which includes every cabinet member, every building principal, and district level coordinator that is running a building specifically, they were all in favor of this position. What this position will do is look at systems. So it is really a continuous improvement system creation. And so what we're looking at is a 2-year position to take a look at Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 across all systems. And this this role will be a teacher on special assignment role who would be working on the development of the system. Year 1 would really be that district level focus, so getting everybody on the same page there, doing a lot of PD with the Minnesota Compass Center and MDE, and then pushing that out into building sites in the following year, so Year 2. And this comes in response to some of the things that we hear from some of our teachers as far as when students get to high school and math levels are varying different abilities. In a 45 to 50-minute class period, that's a lot of differentiation for our staff. Same thing with reading level abilities. So the goal of this position would be to create the system that helps address those needs academically, behaviorally, social emotionally. You really just take a look at student data to be able to address concerns that may be brought forward. Maybe it's attendance. Maybe it is something like we're missing some phonics at the secondary level with some of our students. So that is what the ask is here. MTSS has 5 components. Like I said, it's around that continuous improvement framework. The first one is infrastructure for supports and continuous improvement. So one of the things that we hear, again, is that time frame when you only have kids for so long as a secondary teacher, that can be hard to differentiate that instruction. At the elementary level, when a teacher has a kid the whole entire day, the system looks a little differently. So the second part is family and community engagement. How are we engaging families in the learning process alongside of us? And it is a two-way communication, a two-way street with those families. The third thing is the multi-layered practices. So what are the actual instructional pieces? What are the methodologies and what are the interventions that we're doing with students? The fourth one is assessment. So of course we want to assess what those things are that we're doing with our kids. Are they working? Are they not working? And then the fifth thing is data-based decision-making. So looking at those students, looking at their data to say, what do they need? So that's a general overview.
Very good. Discussion.
Mr. Chair,
Director Wolf.
I was unable to meet or attend the Finance Committee meeting where this was presented, and thank you for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned 2 years, grant funded. Fast forward to year 3. Will this position be around?
No.
No, it won't be. This is a 2-year.
It is a 2-year position. The way that the posting looks is 2 years and done.
Okay, thank you. And you mentioned TOSA, teacher on special assignment.
Yes,
That teacher could be from our district? That
Correct.
teacher could be from another district?
Correct.
Is that how it works?
Correct.
You post it like any other job? And
correct.
all
Yep. And so you'll see just a pay on there. I think we did like 100 and 105 as an estimate. Of course, we don't know what that would actually be depending on the role because they could come in on the bottom end of the salary schedule, which I think is roughly 45, or they could come in on the top end of the salary schedule, which could be closer to 95. So it just truly depends on if you guys approve this and then who the candidates are that we get in the door.
And
But
so-
it would be 100% covered by this grant. We have enough money that we can cover the 95.
And so this isn't something where somebody can bid into. It's posted, you hire the best candidate that you feel for this position will do.
Correct, and because it is a teaching position, the committee would be at least 50% made up of teachers as well. So they have a very strong voice in who this candidate would be.
Oh, I got you. Okay, thank you.
Good. Further discussion. Director Boudreau.
Mr. Chair, I would like to ask Julie, I'm not sure if you're the one to answer the question, but when the money runs out from this grant,
Yep.
then will the coordinator salaries be absorbed into the budget?
No.
So
The
it will
position
be-
will end.
It will be a reduction maybe in our expenditures when the grant is done?
I want to be clear that you will not see a reduction in the general fund because this is funded by a grant. So,
I understand that,
yes.
but there will be a reduction in spending?
There'll be a reduction in spending and a reduction in personnel, yes, but not a
Okay.
reduction in the general fund.
Okay, well, thank you for clarifying that. I think there's been some misperceptions about this, just some social media postings, and that have led people to communicate with us. And I think it's important that all the information be presented when we have social media conversations, because what I found is that people misread what's happening. They accuse us of trying to add more people than we need, and I mean, it just goes crazy. And even connecting us somehow with the data center. It just gets off, and it gets ridiculous because we can't counteract any of that, only at our meetings. And I think it's important that we clarify facts, and I tried to do that when I responded to those who had contacted me, and I hope others were able to do the same. It's happens more frequently, and it's unfortunate. So thank you.
If I can add one caveat, the only way this position would continue is if there was a grant opportunity again, and it was elevated enough to be brought to you for approval. So like, there is always that possibility that grants could come back to the surface. We never know what grants are going to come out 2 years, 5 years from now, but we are looking for a 2-year position at this time.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add, there's only so much money. We heard that already tonight. So when we are required to do things and we can get a grant that helps us do it and we don't have to use it from other funds, I think that's very noble to do. So thank you for bringing this to us.
So for the record, so the public, general public understands this as well. Any grant that we have, when that time runs out and the money runs out, if the district leadership believes that certain aspects of that program or that program should continue, then it's referred to then brought to the board saying, we would like this to be part of the general fund or however we're going to pay for it, and this board acts on it, or the school board acts on it. At no time is any grant just
Absorbed.
rolled over and absorbed to the next year. Let's end that misunderstanding now. Again, I think it's been every year that we've virtually been on the board, Mr. Wolf, that we've had to answer this, so to do that. I do have a couple questions, Director Hall. So my first question is, how is this position working within the curriculum department?
Yeah, so it's working alongside of the teaching and learning group because of the strong instructional focus and the professional development focus. As we said, it's a framework for continuous improvement, and Mr. Benty and I work together on that work currently through our Minnesota Compass regional centers, and so this just really expands that work alongside of teaching and learning. When you think about the departments that exist in our district office, it fits the best there, but it really could be housed anywhere in the district because, like we said, year one is district level focus, so really working with the principal group alongside of the directors and coordinators to get this off the ground, get the systems up and supported, and then pushing out into the buildings to see it in action, the implementation theory and science.
Okay. My second question is then, how does this position impact or benefit our students, our staff? I think you've kind of answered this already, and the administration, but I just wanted to make sure that everything's out. So
Yeah, so I think of it as, for example, like I was a beginning teacher at one point in my life, right? And so if you have a student who is not where you expect them to be for any reason, right? Maybe their attendance is lagging, maybe academically something just doesn't seem to be clicking. Typically what happens is you bring that student to a team within your building to analyze the data and talk about that student, to put interventions or look at even the core instruction to say, what is it that we can do differently that is research backed, that has proven growth results for this individual student. And so this creates a systemic look for each of those kiddos. Specifically, this grant is focusing really at the secondary level. We initially wrote it for the entire system, and the people at the state said, we feel like that's a lot. We'd really like you to narrow it down. And so we wrote it as middle school, high school, secondary focus. But then in meeting with them, they said, if you have buy-in at all levels, it's okay to go ahead and do buy-in. So while the grant, the action plan and the grant really is specified around secondary, it will be a district level view. So I think about that from the student side there. I think about that from the teacher side there. And then as a new principal coming in, we've had new principals every year that I have been here. And that is a big job, right? So if you know what systems are in place to support your teachers, what the professional development is that has gone along with it, and the systems to support your students, it should be the same system across the board for kids. What will look different is the interventions because of the needs of the kids, right? So you think about a phonemic awareness intervention, so that's where you're dealing with sounds, right? That letter sound intervention is probably going to look a little differently if you're working with a third grader versus someone who might be in 11th grade, right? And that's just because of age appropriateness. So while the system would look the same, some of those interventions would really be tailored to individual students.
So again, the complexity of lesson design and delivery.
Yeah.
That's what-
Yep. And looking at all three tiers of instruction. So tier one is where everybody gets it, right? Everybody's in the general classroom getting the same general thing. Tier two can be in the classroom too. It can be small group within the classroom. It could be a little bit bigger than a small group. And then that tier three is where you really focus in on a group of 2, 3, 1 kid, depending on the need of those kiddos. So it really takes a look at all layers of instruction, academically, behaviorally.
Very good. Further discussion? Director Moore?
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you. I think it was in 2022, and I actually got this down on tape, and I transcribed it. I had asked, it was a former financial director, and I asked what happens to the money when the grant runs out? What happens to the grant? And they said, well, if we decide to keep it, this is what he said. He said the coordinator salaries and will be convoluted, and he actually said the convoluted into the budget. And then I said, well, who decides that the grant will continue? And I think it was Mr. Benty, you looked at me and you said, and I have this on tape, you said, well, you did when you approved the budget. Well, when we get the budget, we don't see any of those grants. And I don't remember ever, and this is 3.5 years on the board, that somebody has said, we want to continue this grant. So I'm having a little problem with that, and so I have it on tape, I have it on transcribed, and if you want to see it, I'll be glad to give it to you. I'm glad that this grant will be it would be 2 years and done. That doesn't always happen, and I know Richard Olson talked about this with the ESSER grants. It was supposed to be done, and it was not done. So it was supposed to be concluded, and so I'm having a little bit of problem with that. In addition, with the exception of phonics with the letters program, none of these programs ever, along with the respective coordinators, have significantly increased achievement levels. Show me where it has.
Director
And
Moore,
it
again,
hasn't.
our discussion should focus on this MN.
I am,
this-
and I'm making a
this position.
point.
I do not see where success with coordinators in past has and student achievement has anything to do with approving this position. Again, we have the job description.
Well, I'm
we have the
saying that
position.
please let me finish. Every time we add something, this is a bureaucracy, and bureaucracy are notoriously inefficient. What we're doing is keeping adding and adding and adding, but where is the achievement levels? Just with this one. And another thing that I'd like to say in addition, I've had a couple of conversations recently and some not so recently that I have to be very careful about. Are all of those who fill the remainder of some of these positions, especially those in the administrative capacity, are we spending our time wisely?
Again,
Is it-
this
is-
has,
it's a
that has
yes or no
nothing to do
question?
with this position. We have the job description of this
I'm
position.
saying we're inefficient, we're not spending, and then some of those in the administrative capacity need to be more on task, and that's what I'm saying. And that's not what I've been hearing, so I won't be voting for this. I think adding another six-figure salary, and many people think too that grants are free. No, it's not free money. It's coming out of taxpayer money, whether at the federal, state, or local levels. So it is not free and money. And somebody actually was talking to somebody in the district, this was a constituent, and they happened to say that, oh, the money is free. No, it's not free. And people are being taxed out of their, that one person said that, he said, if this keeps up, I'm going to lose my farm. So this is tax money,
Again,
and
we're
I will not,
focusing on
thank you.
this position. You're welcome. Further discussion? Director Knudsen.
So I'm wondering, so we've applied for the grant and we've gotten it, and how much do we get for the grant?
So we can use up to $250,000, and this is the only thing funded with the grant is this specific position, because that's what the grant is for.
Okay, and then, so let's say we hire somebody at the $95,000 mark, then we also provide them with benefits, right?
Correct.
So then those would go over the 250?
No, we are within the 250,000 mark if we hire someone at the top end of our budget.
Okay, and it seems like there's going to be a lot of training. And so then are we going to be spending a lot of money to pay people to go to the trainings?
No,
And-
so we voluntarily did some of this training already as administrators that were bought into this work this year. And so this level is really the administrative training side of things. And that is not costing us any additional dollars because of the way the salaried employees work there.
Okay, and then I was looking at this program for school year 23 and 24, and it says that the application states that grant funding can be used for staff training and coaching in systemic and explicit instruction across all tiers for math literacy, blah, 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 letters included. So instead of hiring somebody to do this, I mean, because we've got you and we've got, a number of people under you, could that not pay you all for doing this?
It's a full-time job on its own.
Well, so that's what you're asking for?
Yeah, that's what, to get this work done in the right way and to have someone truly invested in it,
Okay.
it would be a full-time job on its own.
Okay, so so, I mean, we could do this, but you're not asking for that? That we could spread it out for the grant funding to be used for staff training and coaching? So,
I'm not sure how that would help us get additional help to do the work. Can you help me
Well,
with that?
I mean, it seems like we have a lot of people in administrative positions already that couldn't because we don't really see you or.
Director Knudsen, again, this
Some
discussion
other
should
people.
be regarding this position.
Well, so that's why I'm asking, could this
Well,
be
you're diverting to
position?
saying somebody else could do this when the ask is for a single position.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We're not focusing on personnel here who are currently with the district.
Okay. And so the training starts 9/16. Will the hire be done and the person ready to start the MNMTSS 6-session course?
Depending
Is that
on
what you're
board
expecting?
approval, then yes, we would like that person to be hired and onboarded by then.
Thanks. Thank you.
Further discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Director Moore.
Yes, for as far as data, because I talked about establishing data systems. Maybe you said this already, but who's gathering this? Is this going to be teachers or administrators? Who's gathering? Establishing data system, that means to me like you're gathering data about information from students.
No, so that would be the like assessment data that we do with our kids, taking a look at attendance data, behavior data, so creating a system on how you view that data.
But it's behavior, so what does behavior include?
Behavior will include like what the incident was, where it took place, time of day, what was the student doing at the time, because what you hope to find is their patterns and behaviors that you're seeing from kiddos. Also, you might find hot spots within a school on where behaviors might be happening, time of day. As a former elementary teacher, elementary principal, a lot of times you see playground, lunchroom, some of those more unstructured times. Secondary level, sometimes it's more passing times. That's where you typically see more elevated behaviors.
So how detailed do you get on those behaviors, and who gets those? I mean, do you have to send them off to educational Minnesota?
Nope.
Or it's just
Nope.
be
Just
used
internal.
in here?
Just internal, yep. No one at the state or anybody gets it.
Discussion. Last call. Hearing none. We are ready to vote. So we have a motion for approval of the Minnesota MTSS position. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion passes 4-2. Thank you, Director Hull. 10E, consider approval of the 10-year LTFM plan. Is there a motion for approval of the 10-year LTFM plan? Thank you, Director Boudreau. Is there a second? I'll second it. I will second that. And I believe I'm going to turn that over to Superintendent Benty.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Raisler is occupied at a family event this evening, so I'm filling in. So the spreadsheet that is on there for the LTFM, I do have a few notes from Ms. Raisler, if you'd like for me to go through them, that kind of walks through it a little bit.
If you would.
All right. So just a quick one is that the plan is submitted to Minnesota Department of Education on an annual basis and is used to assist school districts and school boards with budget and planning of maintenance projects. All right, the key word there being maintenance. Items to note on the top section of the spreadsheet, if you're looking at it, is environmental health and safety includes salaries of applicable maintenance staff members. Asbestos removal is larger in fiscal year 27 due to the work being done at McKinley on the remodel. We anticipate this to drop significantly going into fiscal year 28 because we won't be doing any of that type of construction. All the other areas that are on there are considered standard at this point. Items to note at the bottom section of the spreadsheet. The building envelope, Kane Smith, our Director of Buildings and Grounds, has phases of tuck pointing that he has planned into for multiple fiscal years. So for Jefferson, the tuck pointing will span from fiscal year 27 through fiscal year 29. Lincoln will also be fiscal year 27 through 30. Roosevelt Early Learning Center will be fiscal year 28 through 31. The middle school will be fiscal year 27 through 30. The high school will be fiscal year 27 through 38, simply due to the size of the building. And then electrical, planned LED light replacement projects. Jefferson, that building will be due to be replaced in fiscal year 27. Lincoln in 28, and Roosevelt Early Learning Center in 29. Mechanical, as has been discussed here, chiller and glycol projects continue across the spectrum, whether it is updating chillers or changing out the glycol that is within the system, because there is a lifetime for that as well. Professional services and salary is used for certain staff members. If there are not LTFM dollars available, we'll move the salary and benefits to other applicable areas, operating capital or potentially the general fund. Site projects and sidewalk repairs as the money allows, and those seem to pop up, as the weather changes, as the snow flies, all that, as trees grow, all those different pieces, the sidewalks continuously need work done. Overall, we continue to have a positive fund balance with this LTFM plan. We're able to move projects around if we find we're in a budget crunch, which is really nice to be able to have that flexibility. However, we do not want to continually to kick the can down the road, and we've gotten into that a little bit with some of our projects, and that is what we are working our way out of right now. The sale of 2 buildings in our district has helped tremendously, which allows us to divert a lot of those LTFM dollars back into this plan to be used at other sites that we are occupying. And then the last piece on here that Ms. Racer has for us is that we will be closing out Fund 6, which is the construction fund. You'll see on there that one looks like it is in a terrible deficit. That's because the funds have already been received and are flowing out as our projects come to a close. So,
Discussion or questions of the LTFM plan?
I think I'm on the right page here with, I just have a question.
Director Moore?
It's remodeling for gender-neutral, single-user projects. So we're going from a male and female bathrooms to a gender-neutral one? Is that what that is?
no, are you looking, is that the $11,000 that's on there? Or which one is that?
Maybe I'm on the wrong one.
There's $0 for it,
It's $0 for it, yeah. Okay.
so we're not doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're not doing anything like that then. So that's what I was wondering, because you've got it in there, but you got it for $0, so.
It's in there because it's required by the state to
Oh,
have those.
thank you. Thank you for, I was a little confused. Thank
All
you.
bathrooms in the state, all public bathrooms in the state of Minnesota are considered gender neutral.
Okay,
So-
thank you. It's like $0, then why do we have it in there? So it's mandated.
And
Right.
Barbie just texted me,
Okay, thank you.
should say Ms. Raisler just texted me, remodeling for gender neutral bathrooms is not planned.
What, yeah. But the reason it's there is because it has to be, you have to put it in for the state.
There is state money that is set
All right,
aside
gotcha.
to do that.
Thank you
if-
for
if you
clearing up my
choose that.
confusion.
Further discussion or questions? Further discussion? Hearing none. We have a motion for approval of the 10-year LTFM plan. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. 10F, consider approval of the Jefferson Capital Grant Project. Is there a motion for approval of the Jefferson Capital Grant Project?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Wolf. The second.
Second?
Thank you, Director Steves. Okay. Discussion, once again, I'll just turn it over to Superintendent Bentley here.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is for the Jefferson bid, part of the capital projects grant that we received from the state. This recommendation comes from ISG. This is a rebid, as the original proposals came in over budget. So we cut the scope of the work down to just the Welcome Center with bathrooms and media center as alternates, so we could add them if the money allows, okay? Bids came back then within the budget for just the Welcome Center. This project is funded by the Capital Facilities Grant provided last year. The idea of a dome was our original plan at that site, but cost prohibited the ideas due to, one, the cost of a dome, and then the cost of any new construction or add-ons to a building in the state of Minnesota now requires storm shelters, which are an immense expense. Every district in the state will be facing, as will we if we choose to build, will be facing a massive amount of money that we have to drop into storm shelters. That's just my 2 cents there so that it doesn't come back on us. And then the one caveat is this project must be finished by December 31st of this year. Okay, so, and Mr. Smith is confident that we are able to achieve that.
Very good. Questions or discussion?
Mr.
Director
Chair,
Wolf.
Mr. Benty, my assumption is that the low bidder on here, CJC Construction, has been vetted and approved as a qualified contractor. I've never heard of them, but there's plenty of contractors I've never heard of, so.
Let me.
And that's what it says, so I'll go
sorry.
with, that's what the letter says. I just want to make sure you're comfortable, Kane's comfortable with them, so.
So it says a bid verification process, and Mr. Smith just texted me and said yes, and so did Ms. Raisler, to your question.
Thank you.
ISG does a nice job of vetting
Sure, okay.
the contractors that do
Thank you.
bid for us.
Thanks.
Questions or discussion? Questions or discussion? Last call. We have a motion for approval of the Jefferson Capital Grant Project. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. 10G, consider approval of the Minnesota Academy's contract renewal. Is there a motion for approval of the Minnesota Academy's contract renewal? Also move that. Move that. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Director Knudsen. And discussion, once again, Superintendent Venti.
Seems to be the superintendent show this evening. So this is our standard tuition agreement that we have with the Minnesota State Academy for Blind and Deaf. This is standard. As you know, we are unique in the state in the sense that we house the academies for the blind and the deaf. So there's a special agreement that the state has with us and with them that allows that per pupil funding to flow between the two of us for revenue sources. So if we have a student from the academies that may come to the high school for a couple hours a day, that revenue follows the students to us. That's what this agreement is for. So,
Questions or discussion? Questions or discussion? It's a wonderful agreement, having been in the classroom. I mainstream many students from the Academy for the Deaf and the Academy for the Blind. Your classroom, it's a wonderful opportunity, not only for those students, but our students as well. This is very, very good. So, hearing no further discussion, we have a motion for approval of the Minnesota Academy's contract renewal. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 6-0. Agenda item number 11, dates to remember. July 27th, 1 week from today, at 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. is a board candidate seminar. One was also offered today at 4 o'clock in the Washington room. So those who are thinking about or considering running for school board, we have a packet and we discuss with you on those seminars, as we've done probably for 6-8 years now, I believe there. August 3rd, 2026 is a board work session, 5:30 p.m. here. August 4th, 3:45 p.m. Policy Committee here. August 10th at 7:30 a.m. is the Finance Committee. August 13th, 2026, 7:45 a.m. Facilities Committee. And August 17th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. is our regular business meeting. Agenda item number 12, is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Steves.
Second.
Thank you, Director Boudreau. Discussion. All in favor of the motion to adjourn signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned.